Morning, welcome to a day 337. Blisteringly warm today as always. Today we've got a few things on. Obviously we've still got to get paint in the garage. We've still got to get the containers emptied out and moved around. We've still got to do a bit of a stock take. We've still got to tidy up a bit of land next door and break down some of the things we've been using. And we've also got to sort out the basement, and we've also got to do some stuff indoors as well. So before I start, help me with a like and subscribe. Thank you for the comments yesterday. Cecil, don't worry, I wasn't taking it personally. And welcome to new subscribers. I think we're at 728 or 729, I think we're at. So we're quite close to the 730 mark. So it's gathering momentum very slowly, but it's good. Momentum is good. I've got to go to Coinman's in a minute to change some hinges that I bought that were the wrong size. I also need to find out whether they've actually got the template to cut in the hinges on the kitchen doors. As I showed you yesterday, they put the shelves in the wrong way, so I'm going to have to find some caps to cover the ones that are already there and re-drill new ones in there to try and stabilise the taller doors at the very bottom. So I need to go and do that as well. They never came back to me yesterday. I did text them on the, just to let you know that you can set up a pro account at Coinman's. That means you're meant to be able to text the pro team and they can tell you what's in stock, give you prices. You can even sort out orders as well. So I did say I'd do a separate video on the suppliers on the island. And it'll be good to do that on Coinman's. Coinman's don't give any discount, but they do let you have a Massey card on your account. But at the same time, you do get to text the pro guys and say, this is what I'm looking for, do you have it in stock, what's the cost? And then I've got it so that my card is authorised with them, which means that when I make an order, they can actually process it, they can charge the card, and if it's a large item, then you just get charged for delivering it, comes here. So you don't even have to go to store. For something like this, obviously I can't have it delivered, but I can text him saying, do you have this? But he did say, give me a minute and I'll come back to you. That was after 4 hours. And then he never came back to me. So I'm not too sure what his minute is. Jason, sort it out. But they're a good team down there. So yeah, maybe I'll do a separate video and I'll introduce you to everybody and show how it all works. So yeah, I have to go to Coinman's, get the kitchen part for the doors. There's a few people gave me some advice today about the hinges and how I can try and sort the gaps out. I'm not too sure it will work, but either way, one guy did suggest packing out the actual hinges themselves, so you can actually get a little bit more. Obviously, as soon as the door itself is on flat, and you want to try and take it in left and right. At the moment, I'm maximising the space over. So like he said, pack them out and you can move them over further. So that's a good idea. But one of the biggest problems I'm really getting, it really is having to move them over and not make the gap on the left-hand side and the right-hand side of the unit itself too big. So it's trying to absorb the gap in the middle, but not make the outer ones bigger. Someone asked whether we can actually stain the brown carcass colour. You can't because it's a laminate, but I'm sure we can mark it up and spray it, or try and find I mean, in England you actually have the end laminate rolls of tape, so you can actually buy it like that, and you just literally, it's sticky, you just literally roll it and put it on. So they must have that on the island. If not, then maybe I can import that. That would be the most straightforward thing to do, just go over the brown laminate with a dark grey laminate strip. They must have it there somewhere. I'll have a look. So I'm going to go and have a look at those in a minute. Like I said, I have to get the hinges so we can actually get the door on here, and then we can shut this. And then today what we're intending to try and do, if we can, to make it quicker, is to use this machine. So again, this part here goes into the 5-gallon. This sits on the floor. This sits into the 5-gallon bucket, and then you've got a spray gun to do what you've got to do. So it will certainly enable the speed to be where it needs to be. The downside to that, obviously, is with spray, you get spray. And here it's not massively windy today, but you can hear the wind coming through very slightly. So if we don't shut this off, then obviously this spray is going to land up going everywhere. So we do need to be a bit mindful. We don't want to cover stuff. So yeah, we need to do that. At the same time, let me just quickly show you indoors as to what we finished with last night. Okay, so all of the actual cupboards are in. As I said, the thing I've got to do really is take the kickboard off here and just try and balance up these, because I think the reason why they're stepping this way is because this unit's too high. That will certainly help me with this, and it will certainly help me with these ones here as well. So I've got to take the end panels off and trim those back once that's done. I've got to trim a bit of skirting board and put that back in, because the guys took that as samples down to Sherwin-Williams to try and match the colours, and they obviously sprayed all over it. So I need to redo that. I've got to talk to them about making me some doors to go in here, because I said these cupboards are too wide. There's no way we're going to get around that. So the only thing we can do is obviously have 3 drawer fronts made for each one. and have them mounted so that they're actually pull drawers instead, which means we'll have to come up with some idea about the handles. Maybe we can have the top routed out so you can put your finger in. So I think that's what we're going to have to do with those 6. We've got to get this sanded down sooner rather than later so we can actually get a final coat on it and it's sanded down and finished today, because tomorrow I want it painted completely. So we're going to need to unfortunately create some dust today, get that pre-sanded down and get that pre-filled. So I need him to do that really before we start spraying in there, because then that can cure, which means we need to cover all of this. And last night I made a start on just balancing out in here as well. So I started here, just balancing out the drawers, the doors, getting them closer together, making sure they're aligned. This side I sort of ran out a bit of steam on here really, so these doors have got to be adjusted up and straightened, and then we can look at getting the closes on there. I don't have the skirting boards, so I'm going to have to talk to him about that. And on that note, by the way, the English tumble dryer and washing machine 10 times better. The American ones here, and they just bleach the clothes and they don't really wash very well without being rude. So we brought the English ones in, and absolutely 10 times better. So also the electrician has advised that any electric appliance from England will last longer because it's on 240 volt and it's also on 50 ohms. So apparently the American stuff's 110 and it runs on 60 ohms, so it's more expensive to operate, and because it's running at such a high pace it doesn't last very long. So he's basically saying TVs, washing machines, any form of white goods, definitely better to get from UK because of the difference in power and ohms, or amps, not ohms. Yeah, so apparently the ampage, because the ampage is actually lower and the voltage is higher, they run at a different speed, stroke capacity, and as a result don't burn out. So yeah, there's one little tip for you. Also, the other thing I did yesterday was I set up the Google Nest products. So we got one there, we got one over here. These are dual smoke detector CO monitors. So
ready in the kitchen. Press to test.
So yeah, you can. They're all connected up via wireless. They're remote as well, which means that out of the building, if there's any issues, there's any CO leaks or any smoke leaks, then your phone will beep and all sorts. So they're quite good. The Nest is a good product, but it's been bought by Google now, unfortunately. So yeah, so there's one here on the hallway to catch anything that happens out there. There's one in the kitchen to catch any smoke or whatever else, and then we'll have another one up towards the other end in the bedrooms. And all of them are linked into the wireless system here. So yeah, definitely recommend those. They come back there in packs of 3. So and we've also got to put the Nest thermostat in here as well. So we'll probably mount it here. We've got the copper colour. So again, it's not at the moment linked to anything, but when the air conditioning unit comes into the basement downstairs, then it'll be linked with that. So we keep it to a certain temperature, and then that way it kicks in when it wants to. But initially, you can rig it up and you can have it as a thermostat, so you can just see what the temperatures are. But obviously, turning it left or right, it's not going to turn anything on because it's not rigged to anything. There's certainly no heating here. So yeah, you rig it up to the actual air conditioning unit, and at some stage you can obviously turn it up and turn it down depending on your heat preference. So yeah, apart from that, that's it. So I'm going to shoot off and go to Coinbase to get the bits. If there's anything in the meantime that you want to know, then let me know. Yesterday, I don't think there was anything in particular question-wise from the audience, but thanks for the comments. There was quite a few. Some good comments as well. And also a couple on the actual, was it Anne-Marie, I think it was, said that she's building on the island. Welcome to come and see the house whenever you want. So let me know a date when's good for you. I'll leave you to it, and I'll check in a bit later on, but don't forget, give me a thumbs up and some comments when you can. Take care. Okay, so not a great deal of filming today, so I do apologise. We have a bit of a sanding situation going on. This side is still wet, so we couldn't actually sand that one, but all 3 sides have been sanded and at a very, very light prime, which is cool. We had a bit of a delay outside. We bought the sprayer, as I showed you this morning. It landed up being an absolute pile of crap. So I cut a very, very long story short. It is sitting there looking sorry for itself. It was something like a bloody Star Wars, didn't it? Yeah, it didn't work. So you have to prime it and all sorts. We did everything to it, but it didn't work. So as soon as the paint came through, it just clogged. It just wouldn't spray at all. So water would go through it. Very, very thin, watered down paint would go through it, but anything other than water wouldn't go through it at all, in any way, shape or form. So we tried thinning down the paint, that wouldn't work. We tried normal paint, that wouldn't work. Yeah, so I don't know what it is, but priming it, doing all sorts to it, it just wouldn't spray. So God knows what we were doing wrong. So I will speak to Coimans tomorrow to see if there's anything they can do. Whether they can enlighten me on something that we didn't do. We followed all the instructions, but nothing worked. So unfortunately, that set us back in here. So as you can see, we managed to get through here nice and white. We rolled this, we got this bit done. And we got a little bit more paint onto this wall here, although not finished. So painted on here, painted on here, painted on here, ceiling done, column done. But the rest of it pretty much has not been touched. Just mainly because of the 2-hour delay we had with that bloody thing. But anyway, tomorrow we will get that finished off. The hinges were put on to the temporary doors, and the 2 doors are now on and are able to be shut, which is good. And obviously I didn't get anything done inside today because I wasn't around. So we're also out here. We're pretty much as organised as we're going to be, although the guys didn't sort out the actual raking of what they brought around yesterday. I thought they would have got that done today. So, but they've not done that. They have started cleaning the containers out because the containers are going to be going in the next week. So they're starting to do a bit of itinerary of what we have left and getting that downstairs. I also, this week, one thing I do want to do tomorrow is measure up all of the manholes and start getting those ordered as well. I'm just going to go with the standard cast iron galvanised ones and then just get them probably painted white. So, I don't know, maybe we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We've got 6 around here, 7. We've probably got about 11 in total, I think. So that's another thing I want to get done. So I'll maybe get the order I've done on that tomorrow. If anybody knows anyone on the island that's good at doing that, let me know. I mean, there is a guy at the top of the road I talked to today about the gate. So fingers crossed he might be able to do it. So we'll talk to him. And I did talk to him about the gate as well. So he's going to give me a quote to do the gate on here. He reckons he can do it in one piece. Well, obviously a central support and a couple of downrights in there. And he recommended 2 wheels, no more. I think he said something like 40 inches from either end. And just 2, because then otherwise it upsets the balance of the, I suppose makes sense. It comes like a seesaw, doesn't it? So 2 wheels, it can sit nicely. When you put a third in there, it makes it uneven. So yeah, he's going to give me a quote for that tomorrow. Tomorrow we're also going to get the outside of here painted as well, just so it blends in. I mean, this is only temporary until the garage door comes, but obviously we'll get it painted white so that it blends in. A hose down in here as well, just to get rid of some of the dust. And again tomorrow, as always, unfortunately like Groundhog Day, it is going to be painting the ceiling and painting the walls in here, and also painting and finishing sanding the extractor. That's the 2 main things. I also managed to find some sticky roll tape as well. So I was saying to everybody about the brown carcasses coming through the gaps in the doors. I did manage to find this. So I don't know, this is what I was after, but normally, let's spin it around. So in Coimans they do this, which is actually for sticking on the end of units and then you trim it back. So it's a dark grey of some sort. I can't see exactly what it's like, but it doesn't seem to be sticky. It looks like you probably have to use contact cement. So I bought 3 rolls of that, and the other thing I found as well is this. So they call it 1 3/8, which is basically 35mm, and that will be used by me to cut another one of those. So I suppose most people ask, how the hell do you cut a hole out of that and actually get the piece out? Well, it's a whole drill piece, look. So as you wind it in, it literally cuts out the whole hole. So that's what I would normally use in England. I didn't think I was going to find it here, but I did. It was tucked away in one little shelf on its own. So yeah, it'll be a case of actually marking it out up here, drilling another one. The downside is I can't find anywhere that does these caps. So if anybody's got any ideas where I can get the caps from, let me know. But at the moment, it's looking like I'm going to have to get some from the UK and bring them over with me. Not a bad day. Obviously, that's one thing I thought I wouldn't get. I certainly didn't think I was going to get any of this. I'm not too sure what it's going to look like when I get it out. And I assume it's going to be contact cement, so it's going to be a case of contact cementing it all the way down and then trimming it. But I know it's normally quite thick and quite brittle, so I'm not too sure how that's going to work. So that's going to be interesting. But I want to get it out tomorrow. I'm going to, let me open one up. So that's what it looks like. Can't really see it in the light. So it's got like an effect on it, but it is a dark grey. So, but as you can see on the inside, it's like a It's like a brittle material. So I will have a look quick at Google tonight on YouTube and see how people normally fix them. I think you can silicone them on, you can do all sorts, but I would have thought contact's meant to be the best thing, but that's going to leave a residue. So I'll have a think about it tonight and get that looked at. Giving you a bit more close-up of the extractor. As you can see, this is still damp and quite rough, but this has been sanded down. This has been sanded down, so that's what it's going to look like if it's white people. But I think the consensus was, let's get it grey. So tomorrow, we can get it painted grey, finally remove all of this horrible stuff off of it, and see it in its formal glory, and hopefully it will look amazing. Anyway, in the meantime, give me a like and subscribe, and a few thumbs up for me, that'd be lovely. Some comments tonight would be great, and I will respond to them as soon as I physically can. But other than that, another day over on planet Earth. I will check in with you tomorrow. Take care. Thank you.